Hi, welcome to my channel. I have an extra special DIY for you. Two different products, and I'm going to show you how to use both of them to create these beautiful country eggs. This is the egg I'm going to be using. It's not a real egg, but boy, it sure does look real. These are the ones I did last year. These were my Easter eggs. You can go to my YouTube channel, Decoupage D.I.Y with Joan-Marie to see that video. And while you're there, please subscribe. Please share this with your friends. Give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the little bell. When you hit the little bell, you get a notification every time I upload a new video. Now, after I show you the two different ways, tissue paper and transfers, that's what I'm using, I'm going to show you how you can take these eggs and display them in 3 different ways. All right, before we start decorating our eggs, I want to show you what these eggs look like. They're not real eggs. They're like a plasticky egg, but they feel and they really look like an egg. I was so happy when I found them. I got mine in Michael's, but Walmart had them. I also saw them in Target, and Amazon had them as well. So they were in pretty good supply this year, so hopefully you can find them. If you can't find them, you can do what I did in my last year's Easter egg video. I used regular plastic eggs like these, and I painted it with white chalk paint. That's only 1 coat. You're going to give it 2 coats of white chalk paint, and it's going to be able to work the same way as it is with the ones that I bought. So if by chance you can't find them, you certainly can use the plastic eggs. Now, this is how they came. In a little egg carton. I thought that was very, very cute. It does have this like decorating things inside for Easter, but you don't need that. We're only going to be using the white eggs. And I did get the colors because I think I'm going to use them next year. All right, let's get ready. Let's start with the tissue paper. We're going to start with the tissue. This is actually gift wrap tissue, and it is heavier than a napkin. I like this one because it had lots of cute little form images on it. They would fit perfectly on the egg. I wanted to do something that wasn't Eastery. I wanted something I can keep out all year round. Now, I got this tissue paper at Etsy. I put in farm gift tissue, and this is what came up. You can pick anything that you want. They have lots of other prints. This is just, again, what I wanted because I wanted it to be something I could use all year round. All right, so you're going to open it up and just look over all the little images, and you're going to pick one out that fits. Not all fit, but a lot of them do. So I really like this chicken one down here. And to remove it, I'm going to use what's called a deckled edge. I'm going to circle the image with a brush and water because this is what I want the edge to look like. When I get a deckled edge like that, it's going to blend in with the egg, just like that. If I cut it, you would see that defined edge. Okay, so what we do is we're going to take a little cup of plain water, just plain water. I'm going to dip a brush in it, and it's a small brush, thin, and I'm going to trace around the chicken just like this. Now, tissue paper, again, it's heavier than a napkin. You're going to need to use a little bit more water as you go all the way around so you'll be able to get the image off. You're also going to have to use like a little bit more force, but you know, it's still not hard to work with. You just have to be a little bit more mindful that it's going to just take a little bit more effort, but wow, the results are so good. All right, you remove it all like that, and see, you can see that beautiful deckled edge. All right, I'll put it over there to dry. Let's pick another one. Okay, I love this bee, also very country, farm fresh. Bees are so popular. I'm gonna dip the brush in water. Again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just encircling the entire image there with the bee, with the water. And again, just make sure you put enough so that the tissue paper is saturated. And same thing. I'm just going to pop it off. I'm going to hold on to the image with my fingers. You can see my finger was kind of in the center because I'm still trying to protect the image. I certainly don't want that to tear. Okay, there you go. All right, that's also wet. So we're going to put both of them off to dry. So when you get tissue paper, go around and look and see what images fit, like the little duck, the little bouquet of flowers. Those all fit. Now that would be a little bit too big as well as that. So you just want to go ahead and look for little images that are going to fit on the eggs. So pretty. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Now we're going to use our Mod Podge to attach our little pieces of tissue to the eggs. I'm going to open up the Mod Podge. I'm using a rice basket. With the rice basket, I can maneuver that rice around so I have a little space where that egg can rest, just like that. And of course, I can make it to any size. Look for a seam. These eggs do kind of have a seam. I like to center mine. Not that the seam is that obvious, but I still like to center it. Okay, so this is what I'm going to put on first. Now, this time I'm going to dip my brush into a little bit of water first before I put on the Mod Podge. That's because the tissue is thicker. So I need to get the tissue paper to be a little bit more saturated than just the glue would give me. All right, I'm going to put the chicken down just like that. I'm just taking my brush and lightly going over the image like that. Now, I am going to use saran wrap on this too. As a matter of fact, it's even more important because not only do I want to smooth out the little image, but I want to make sure that the water along with the plastic wrap, the image is going to mold around that egg. All right, let's take a look. I'll just use my brush to smooth down any little images that are sticking up, and that looks really nice, has a real country feel to it. All right, so let's move on to the other one, which is the bee. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our egg, we're going to look for that seam, and then we're going to nestle it there in the rice. A little bit of water on my brush, and then I'm going to put on the Mod Podge. And remember, you want to make sure you have enough on there so the image is going to be resting on top of the Mod Podge. Okay, now sometimes that works, but I guess I'm going to have to pick it up. I'm going to put it on. Same thing, I'm just going to use my brush to kind of smooth down all of the edges. And again, definitely with the saran wrap to smooth it and get it to mold right along that egg. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, a little sticky. Okay, there you go. Look how nice that is. And again, just take your brush and smooth down any little edges that might be sticking up. And by the way, I did not paint these eggs. I used them just as they came. Now, compared to the ones I did last year, which were more spring-like, and there's one that's definitely more Easter-like, these you can leave out all year round. I know I keep saying it over and over again, but it's true. Okay, the next thing I'm going to be doing are the transfers. Okay, now we're on to the transfers. I love these. It's one of my most favorite products I've been using recently. All right, so what they are these images printed onto clear plastic. I would say similar to temporary tattoos where the ink is on the plastic, and once the plastic is removed, all of the ink is transferred. Now, this is from Prima Redesign. I got these from Amazon. I'll put the link down there. You don't have to use these. There's many types of transfers you can buy. Lots of different stores carry them. Amazon has a lot. As a matter of fact, these, I got them from the Dollar Tree, so you can even use those. And you imagine you have all those images for $1. And these cost me like around, I think they were like around $8, so they're really not expensive. All right, so let's take a look at the ones I have, and let's pick an image. Oh, no. All right, let's do the rooster down there on the bottom. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to cut around it with a scissor, and I'm going to be very careful not to cut into the image. All right, we'll put all that aside. Now, there's the egg. I'm going to check for the seam. Now, because the image is printed onto the plastic, I have to remove the backing. The backing actually protects the ink that's on the plastic, so you have to peel that off. If you don't take that off, you can rub and rub and rub, and the image is never going to go onto the egg. All right, so make sure you do that. So we're going to take the image, and I just want to show you what I used to rub the image off with. This is a bone folder. I found that the popsicle sticks just didn't do the job. All right, so that the ink is sticky, so it's going to adhere to the egg pretty quickly, but you're still going to have to rub because we're doing what's called a transfer. As a kid, I think we called them rub-ons or rub-offs, but really this is a transfer. And I'm just going to kind of start from the middle, and I'm doing it outward, and you can start to see that the ink or the image is transferring because the black, you don't see it on the plastic anymore. It's more like gray plastic. And you're just going to keep doing that all the way around. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, there is a little bit of a learning curve in doing these, but again, they're not very expensive. And maybe you want to start with something that's flat as opposed to something that's round, like diving right in there, doing something that's round like an egg or curved like an egg. Okay, I think we have it. A little bit more there. Oop, okay. And there you go. And there's no ink on the plastic, so I can see I got it all. All right, let's take a look. Very nice. Anything sticking up, you can just put it down with your finger. And now look, you can see the difference between the tissue and the transfers that I just used. Okay, so let's do another one. This time I'm going to do it on an egg I painted. I painted it green. You can see I have a little bee on one side. Now we're going to do the other side. You can see the difference between the white and the green. All right, so let's go back, pick one of our transfers, and okay, we'll pick this one. And again, I'm cutting around the image, careful not to cut into the image. Again, remove that backing, that protects the ink on the plastic, sticky. All right, make sure it's in the center and press it down like that, because again, it's sticky and it's going to start to stick right away. Same thing, I'm going to take the bone folder and I'm just going to rub like that. And that ink is transferring just like it did with the first one. And just keep doing like that. In fact, this one looks like it's even coming off a little bit easier. Just practice. It doesn't take that much. It really doesn't. All right, let's see. Look at that. Nope, no ink on the plastic. And it's all done. There it is, the white and the green. Both look very, very pretty. All right, so we're going to put those off to the side. And now I want to show you some of the eggs I did, but these eggs are the ones using the transfers that had colors in them. So we're going to put the rice basket aside, and let's take a look. That's another one on the green. I'm going to show you a few I did from the Prima line, which is these beautiful florals. Let me see. Sorry, there's such a big mess. And then I'm going to show you the ones I used from the Dollar Tree. I have so much to show you. I have stuff all over the place. Those are from the Dollar Tree. Okay, so let's take a look. This one is from the Prima. Very pretty, floral, soft, delicate. I think it's something you could leave out in the spring and the summer. And there's another one. That one is really, really pretty. That one looks hand-painted. All right, these now are from the Dollar Tree ones. There it was a teacup, and there it is. And there's one, I actually used two, and I combined them, and that came out really nice. Now, here's the little birdie. This came from the Dollar Tree, and has a little bit of a different look, spring look, but I think maybe something you can keep out all year round as well. I have some ways that you can display these eggs, but before I show you, I want to remind you that you do need to put a top coat of Mod Podge. You're going to put it on the ones. Just go over it like that. This is from the gift wrap tissue. Okay, just make sure it doesn't get stuck there. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the transfers. I'm just going to put a nice light coat of the Mod Podge on top. All right, so we can put that away. And now we can go on to my first display idea. This is a crate. I got it from the Dollar Tree, cost $1. And I painted it all black like that. This is the black paint that I used. When I was done, I used some white chalk paint and a brush similar to this. And I just kind of brushed the white roughly against all of the black until I got this really nice vintage country farm look. These are letters I got from the Dollar Tree. I painted them white and black. And I'm going to put them on with the glue gun. And I'm just going to line them up on the crate the way I want them. Just like that. And once I know I've got them in place, I'm going to start to hot glue them on. All right, so we'll turn it over. It's good to put the letters down first and kind of leave them there because now you know where they should go. So a little tip there. All right, and then we're going to press down the E. Just like that. All of the letters are now attached, and I used the glue gun to do that. Now I'm ready to put the eggs into the crate. I'm going to use just some of the plain eggs that aren't decorated, kind of like filler. Then I'm going to take the ones that I have already, either put the transfers on or the tissue, and I'm just going to place them on top. Just like this, just as a cute way to display. That's actually a Dollar Tree egg that I put the bee on. Still looks very cute. There you go. Good way to display them. Some of these eggs come with a hole in the top, so if you want to, you can hang them. Just put a ribbon or a little piece of twine and just glue it in there and you can hang it up. Now, I saw this in a magazine. They used real moss. I'm going to be using the Dollar Tree reindeer moss, and you glue it all on top of the egg crate. So just take your hot glue and just run it along the crate like I did. Just take some of your reindeer moss and you're going to tear it apart and just put it on top of the hot glue. Then you're going to do another little section or little piece, put down some hot glue, and then a little bit more of the reindeer moss. Now, we're not looking for perfection here. We're kind of going for organic. So we want it to look, I'm going to say messy. All right, I have one that's done so I can show it to you. Here it is. Look how pretty that is. All right, now, what you do now is add little flowers and greenery to it. So here's some scraps that I had. And let me get my scissor. And I'm just going to cut little pieces off. This is like Queen Anne's lace, and I'm going to tuck it in. So I'm going to start placing the flowers where I want, and after I get them all in where I want, I'm going to be able to go back in with a little bit of hot glue so they don't move around. Now, I cut this leaf. I liked it. It was like a gray-green, but I don't have any stem on it, so I'm going to have to go back and just glue that in. I can't tuck it in. This is a really nice piece of greenery. This came from the Dollar Tree, those little bunch of flowers. I could just tuck that in too. And after I get all the flowers and greenery that I want, I can go ahead and start putting in my eggs. Just going to kind of tuck them inside the moss like that. And move the things around so you get it in a position and it looks pretty. I think when I do this though, I think I'm going to add more of the flowers after I put the eggs in. And I'm going to put it on my Facebook group page, Vippy's Facebook page. I'm going to put it on Decoupage Rocket Girls. You'll see the complete egg crate. On to my final display idea. I went to the Dollar Tree and I found this basket. It's a nice basket. And what I did is I took some white chalk paint and I sponged it all over the basket, but I had some of the color of the basket kind of peek through. Give it a vintage look, okay. Now, I also added some sphagnum moss into the basket where I can lay the eggs on top of. I like the way that looked. This is a sign. I actually got that at the Dollar General last year, and I knew one day I'd have something I could use it in. All right, so I got you, I think, 3 good ideas here. The basket, the crate, and I really like this one is my favorite. I love that. It was so much fun showing you these 2 different products that you can use to decorate your eggs. One being this gift wrap tissue that had all these little farm images on it. And the other is these transfer rub-offs that I use on this egg. I love how these look. I will probably be using these in future videos, DIY videos as well. I also showed you 3 very simple ways that you can display your eggs. And remember, you can also get transfers in colors if you don't want to use just the black and white. Big shout out, first of all, to my group page. I know you guys are here. I do post on different Facebook pages, Vippy's, Decoupage, Rocket Girls. I always put my things on those pages too. Now, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have many more videos there. Give it a thumbs up, make sure you share and hit the little bell. When you hit the little bell, every time I put a new video on, you're going to get a notification. I want to thank Art. He does such a great job. And thank you so much for joining me.